Huawei's Mate X trifold smartphone has created a craze in China since the moment it hit the market, fueled by nationalist sentiment. One of the most fanatical cases involved a young man. A few days ago, he stirred up a scene at an Apple store, hyperactively promoting his Huawei trifold phone. This incident quickly spread across China's social media, causing a lot of buzz. At the McDonald's, he jumped around and shouted the slogan, "Three folds, you'll always have a face, however you fold it." People online quickly responded with sarcastic comments. Some wondered which mental hospital he had escaped from. Others said his antics suited Huawei's brand perfectly, calling him Huawei's new spokesperson. These remarks weren't without reason. His behavior mirrors the style of Huawei CEO Richard Yu. Often called Big Mouth Yu, he has repeatedly claimed at product launches that Huawei is way ahead of its competitors. The phrase "far ahead" has become synonymous with Huawei. In response to the young man who caused a scene at the Apple store, this commentator sarcastically remarked, "I'm not sure how you all feel after watching that, but a lot of people are criticizing him in the comments. To be honest, I'd understand why everyone is mad. In fact, I think this video is really positive. First of all, it's said that this video has gone viral abroad. This is undoubtedly a great way to showcase the spirit of the Chinese people. The energetic, enthusiastic body language will surely intimidate those clueless foreigners. They must be terrified deep down. Even I felt scared just watching it through the screen." Secondly, it really helps reshape the image of Huawei users. To be honest, while Huawei phones have always sold well, most of their users are middle-aged or older. From an outsider's perspective, this gave the brand a somewhat outdated feel. I'm sure Huawei noticed this too, which is why they launched the Lowa series, aimed at younger audiences, but with little success. This video breaks the long-standing perception of Huawei's user base. Third, this behavior really hits Apple users hard. While Apple has shown little innovation, Huawei comes out with this mind-blowing trifold phone, a phone that folds 3 times. You can't deny how impressive that is. Watching him jump around in the Apple store might seem like he's stomping on their floors, but in reality, each step was like stomping on the foreheads of Apple users. If I were an Apple user, I'd be ashamed, humiliated, and maybe even want to slam my head onto one of those Apple display tables. After this explanation, I'm sure you'll now see how positive his actions are. But this fan isn't alone. A blogger from Tongliao, Inner Mongolia, built a large trifold model and displayed it in a shopping mall, becoming an unpaid Huawei promoter. It seems Huawei's nationalist branding has won over many enthusiastic and irrational fans. Another man, eager to show off his new Huawei trifold, attended a friend's wedding. He made sure to stand up during the meal and answer a phone call, drawing laughter from the guests. At the same time, a trend mocking the trifold phone has spread across China. Some have made their own trifold models and performed exaggerated, humorous stunts. Others have gotten creative, imagining hidden features for the Huawei trifold. Some suggest it could be used as an umbrella in the rain, as a tray in a bar, as a face shield when meeting someone, or even as a fan at a barbecue. Some people took things a step further and made their own knockoff versions of the trifold phone. One creative person made a trifold phone out of flower. In Chinese, flower sounds like face, so they joked that they had truly achieved the slogan, "You'll always have a face," or flower, however you fold it. Some also mocked Huawei, saying its internal performance is lacking, so it focused on the exterior. Last year, they introduced a dual-fold screen, and this year, a trifold. At this rate, in 10 years, will Huawei come out with a 10-fold screen? In fact, many people are also disappointed with Apple's iPhone 16 this year, complaining that all it offers is more cameras. In 10 years, both Apple and Huawei might look like this.
看镜头，看哪个镜头？
Look at the camera. Which one? The 5th camera in the 8th row. This message is way too long. Can you check what's on screen 55? Can't see it. Oh, I should have bought a bigger phone. Huawei fans weren't too happy about people making fun of the trifold. They asked, how could such a high-end trifold phone be turned into a joke like this? Huawei launched the Mate X at a high price, between 20,000 and 24,000 yuan. Scalpers quickly inflated prices to as high as 100,000 yuan. However, as excitement faded and concerns about the phone's functionality and quality grew, the prices began to plummet. In just hours, prices dropped dramatically, leaving scalpers with heavy losses. At first, the price was marked up by tens of thousands. Now, it's only a few thousand more than the original price. Experts have called this situation a jumping off a building scenario, predicting that the phone's price could soon fall below the official retail price. Analysts point to two main reasons. First, the general public is still hesitant about trifold screens, and second, the price is simply too high. Even at 20,000 yuan, it's far beyond the budget of most consumers.
为什么 Mate X T 的价格噌的一下就崩盘了呢？要回答这个问题，你得
Why did the price of the Mate X collapse so quickly? To answer that, you first need to understand Huawei's product lineup. Right now, they're selling the dual-fold Mate X5 and the trifold Mate XT, which are part of Huawei's top foldable screen lineup. Whether it's in terms of price, quality, or social impact, they're way ahead. Some people say the economy is bad, and that's why they had to lower the price. But anyone familiar with the product knows it's not about lowering the price, it's just that the original markup was way too high, and it's now returning to normal. The biggest reason for the price collapse is the underwhelming experience. The usage rate for the dual fold is only 20%, and it's even lower for the trifold. The main factor that supports a high price for any product is its practicality. If it's not useful, then the price drop is inevitable. That's why Huawei immediately launched the new dual-fold Mate X6. The price drop of the Mate XT has hurt not only the scalpers, but also the early buyers who paid a premium.
我发现我就是个冤种。
I realize I'm a total fool. Yesterday, I spent 41,000 yuan to buy a Mate XT. They even gave me a fancy handover ceremony with flowers and 2 bottles of water. I even drank one. Today, I checked the price, and it dropped to 30,000. I'm such a fool. But even worse is this guy. He first bought an iPhone 16 Pro Max, used it for one day, sold it at a loss of 1,600 yuan, and swapped it for a Huawei Mate XT. Then, after a few days, he didn't like the Huawei and sold it again at a loss of 3,000 yuan, switching back to the iPhone 16 Pro Max.
第一批用 Mate X T 的大哥已经
Well, the first batch of Mate XT owners are done. The second batch can start considering it now. Let me check this Mate XT. How many days have you had it? I bought it on October 1st. Why did you stop using it? It's too heavy, it's hard to carry around, and my arms get tired when I'm lying in bed scrolling through TikTok. You activated it on October 3rd, and today you're trading it in for an iPhone 16 Pro Max? Mate XT for a Pro Max? What were you thinking? I originally bought a 16 Pro Max, but sold it after one day for a 1,600 yuan loss. Then, on October 1st, I finally got my hands on a Mate XT, but a few days later, I saw it wasn't for me. Did you buy it directly from the official site? No, I bought it in store. I had to pay an extra 5,000 yuan. In the end, this guy sold his Mate XT for 24,000 yuan and bought an iPhone 16 Pro Max for 10,200 yuan. This man is a textbook example of falling into a trap. The day after the Mate XT was launched, he paid an extra 10,000 yuan to get one. After showing it off for a few weeks, he had enough. Then, just before China's National Day, the stock market surged, and experts predicted even more gains after the holiday. He regretted missing out on the chance to make money in the stock market. So, on October 4th, during the holiday, he sold the phone at a loss of over 10,000 yuan and planned to invest the cash in stocks after the holiday. It's unclear if he rushed to buy stocks on October 8th when the market spiked, but it's likely he fell into another trap. We now know China's stock market began to fall on October 9th. Back to the Huawei Mate XT. Its hinge design requires the screen to be folded in a specific way. If folded the wrong way, the screen could break, costing thousands to repair. The design with one inward and one outward fold makes it easy to fold the wrong way by accident. That's exactly what happened to one user who folded it the wrong way, leading to a costly mistake. Another man took his trifold phone to a bar, planning to show it off to his friends, but after a few drinks, he folded it the wrong way and broke the screen. Instantly, sobering up, he lamented, "This thing, I can't figure it out after a few drinks." After seeing this, viewers let out a long sigh and said, "Finally, the thing I feared most has happened." One person shared their experience after using the trifold phone for a day, saying it wasn't practical. The trifold screen was rarely needed, the phone felt heavy, and folding and unfolding it was a hassle. They also worried about damaging the fragile screen, which would cost 10,000 yuan to replace. Far too much for most people. Their advice: don't buy the Huawei trifold. Cracking the trifold screen is actually quite common. On October 10th, someone posted on the platform Xiaohongshu that they had accidentally broken their phone's screen. Since they hadn't bought screen insurance, they had to pay for the repairs themselves. The cost of replacing the original screen with a trade-in was 8,000 yuan. Without a trade-in, the price rose to 9,800 yuan, nearly 10,000 yuan, which most people can't afford. One person commented, "What can you do if you're both foolish and rich? If it were me, I'd throw the trifold phone away and buy a new iPhone 16 for 7,999 yuan instead. Why bother fixing it? It's no wonder the Huawei trifold has earned the nickname Trifold Dad. It's so fragile that owning one feels like caring for it like a parent." Another person shared their experience with a foldable screen. They said, "Using a foldable screen is like starting a journey of burning money. I bought a Mate X5 last year. The inner screen protector had creases, and when I replaced it, the screen started leaking. They blamed it on me, saying the phone had been shaken 7 days earlier, which tightened the center hinge. They said the protector wasn't applied correctly, causing pressure that broke the screen. My child played with it all summer, and the screen was fine. The Huawei service center in Shanghai's Jingshajiang Road was terrible, making me use my own screen insurance to repair it." This person later called the consumer hotline to file a complaint. Even more strangely, the customer service representative said, "All foldable screens are like this. The technology isn't mature. People who buy these phones are wealthy and don't care. Just don't buy new products in the future." Thankfully, Huawei's VIP customer service eventually replaced the screen. But the original screen was removed, compromising the phone's waterproof seal. 2 months later, the inner protector developed another crease. This time, the person didn't dare to replace the protector and had to make do. The experience left them deeply disappointed. The trifold screen design simply isn't practical and is too fragile. After the initial novelty wears off, most people won't fold it much. Over time, creases will appear, and if the screen is accidentally folded the wrong way, it's ruined. If people want a bigger screen, they should just buy a tablet. If the motherboard is damaged, repairs for the 512GB version cost 9,100 yuan, while the 1TB version exceeds 10,000 yuan. In short, dropping the phone and replacing the screen or repairing the motherboard could cost as much as buying several iPhone 16s. People used to complain about Apple's repair costs, but compared to Huawei, Apple's prices now seem quite reasonable. Back in the day, buying Apple products was considered a tax on intelligence due to the high prices and repair costs. But now Huawei's prices far exceed Apple's, yet few people complain. If anyone does, they're accused of being unpatriotic or unfairly targeting Huawei. Though Huawei claims its Mate X2 has advanced folding screen technology, the crease is still very visible after unfolding. One user found that the crease is obvious on a black screen, but barely noticeable on a white screen. The screen also feels like plastic, both in touch and appearance. This user's criticism was met with fierce attacks from Huawei fans who hurled insults at him. Some people commented that, with a sense of patriotism, minor flaws like these could be easily overlooked. Others said, people who can't afford the phone have no right to criticize the real experiences of someone who actually uses it. That's absurd. Aside from cracked screens, another common issue with foldable screens is liquid leaking.
I was about to make a call, but I noticed a line on the screen. When I pressed on it, the right side of the screen went completely black.
She said the phone was only 3 days old and had never been dropped. She had simply complained that it felt too heavy and was considering replacing it. Then this happened. When she took it to the store, she was told it was a leakage issue and could be repaired under warranty. This person encountered a similar issue just a few days after buying the phone. It started leaking liquid. Huawei's first foldable phone, the X5, which was released last year, also had ongoing liquid leakage problems. However, when issues arose, Huawei often blamed it on users and refused to cover the repairs under warranty. On September 17th, someone from Hainan posted that their Huawei X5 experienced liquid leakage after just 1 month of use. When they contacted customer service, they were told the damage was caused by external forces and wasn't covered under the warranty. The person saw many others online with the same issue. Huawei's standard response was that the damage was due to improper use and therefore wasn't covered under the warranty. He joked that the Huawei X5 is like a money magnet, with magnets at its 4 corners that attract metal debris which could scratch the screen if unnoticed. His advice was to never open the X5 outdoors. Before opening it at home, clean your house thoroughly. If that's still not safe enough, lock it in a case, occasionally worship it, and post about it on social media. Just don't open it outdoors, because once it's open, the warranty no longer applies. His post sparked heated discussion and caught Huawei's attention. After a month of negotiations, Huawei finally offered him a 800 yuan discount on screen repairs. Another user from Sichuan had a similar experience. At first, Huawei asked them to pay for repairs. After repeated complaints, they were offered discounts of 800 and 2,000 yuan. The repair process felt more like haggling at a market, which amused many. In addition, Huawei's Harmony OS hasn't gained much confidence. Industry insiders believe its biggest weakness is its ecosystem, which has a major flaw. If this problem isn't resolved, Huawei could face the same fate as Nokia and be phased out of the market. Before I reveal the answer, let me ask you something first. What ultimately makes a phone manufacturer successful? Huawei's trifold screen is pretty impressive, right? And Huawei even manufactures its own chips. But does a phone company succeed based solely on hardware? Let's take a look back at Nokia. In 2008, Nokia had a 40% market share. Was Nokia's hardware successful? There was even a joke back then that you could use a Nokia phone to crack open walnuts. No one at the time thought a successful phone company like that would disappear from the scene. According to this blogger, hardware and an operating system alone aren't enough to make a phone manufacturer successful. The key lies in building a strong ecosystem. A successful ecosystem requires collaboration between phone manufacturers, consumers, developers, and related hardware companies. While Huawei launches Harmony OS, its high pricing is threatening the development of its ecosystem. Data shows that as of June 2023, Apple had 2 million apps and 263 million devices. Android's Google Play had 3 million apps and over 900 million devices. In comparison, as of September 2024, Huawei's Harmony OS had only 10,000 native apps. Due to high prices, fewer domestic consumers are buying Huawei devices, making it harder for developers to create Harmony OS apps. This disrupts the feedback loop that ecosystems rely on. If Huawei insists on high pricing, it risks losing a large portion of its domestic consumers, handing the market to Apple and Android, and eventually fading from the scene altogether.